Hey yo, what is going on everybody? Depraved Slasher, and we are back with another rap battle reaction. I'm Depraved.
I'm Hellcat.
And together we are...
Hella Depraved.
Yes, we are. And I am excited about this one. So, for those of you that don't know, not a single, not a near, not a one of you requested anything over the last 2 weeks for ERB.
Shame.
So I took your request and made it just one that I wanted to do. And while I was going through and looking at all the ones that are still available that we haven't done yet, one stood out specifically to me.
Favorite poet versus favorite author?
Favorite poet versus favorite author. So this is Edgar Allan Poe versus Stephen King, or actually I think it's Stephen King versus Edgar Allan Poe to be technical. I will say I'm pretty sure I've seen this before.
I know I've seen this before.
On the flip side, again, it has been a long time.
Same here.
Because again, I don't listen to... Like I have friends that go through and watch ERBs over and over again all the time. I don't.
Or multiple reactions to them.
Right.
Yeah.
I watch it once, maybe twice, and then I'm done with it until...
Right.
Whenever.
So this is more of a review-ish.
It's kind of a...
Because neither of us remember.
Right. It's kind of a... review action. Revaction.
Revaction. There you go.
Revaction.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'm
excited for it. We're going to slash it up and break it down as we do. This is Edgar Allan Poe versus Stephen King, or Stephen King versus Edgar Allan Poe, I think is the way they have it written.
Right.
Regardless, my favorite poet versus my favorite author.
Do you have one you want to win?
I don't care.
Right. Okay. Me neither.
If I have to pick Stephen King.
Okay. All right.
Because he's still alive.
If I had to pick, it would be Edgar Allan Poe. Had to pick. Like, put on the spot, gun to my head, had to pick.
Right.
Stephen King is not my favorite author, by the way, people. Edgar Allan Poe is my favorite poet. Stephen King is one of my favorite authors, but not top of the list for me.
Well, Stephen King's the only author I read from.
No, I know, baby.
Well,
I
I know.
was just clarifying
I know.
that for me,
I know.
like...
I was also clarifying for them
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, Edgar Allan Poe, I've read his stuff.
Right.
But in terms of, like, novels, actual full-blown novels, Stephen King is the only author I read from at this point, because everyone else bores me.
Right.
For whatever reason.
I read a lot.
Yeah, so, without further ado, Stephen King, Edgar Allan Poe, let's get it.
Setting the mood.
What across the world? Stephen King! Awesome! Edgar Allan Poe!
Once upon a midnight dreary, as I spit this weak and weary, I will choke this joker with a trochee till his cheeks are teary.
I will choke this joker
With a trochee.
till his cheeks are teary. Well, first off, starting off with While I Ponder Weak and Weary
Right.
is off of one of his poems.
Right. Well, yeah. Raven.
Is it the Raven?
I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I ponder weak and weary. Yeah.
He calls him a joker, which I feel is almost kind of a slight It reference. Because Joker being a clown.
Right.
And the clown being It, which Stephen King wrote. I could be reaching there. I could be
Right.
reaching. I mean, obviously we do know they did Joker versus Pennywise.
Right.
Later down the line.
Later. Correct.
But,
Until he's crying.
yes.
I do like that they're keeping to
The
Poeism.
yes. I feel like it's necessary.
As I spit this weak and weary, I will choke this joker with a trochee till his cheeks are teary. But y'all don't hear me, all should fear me. I'll forever be better, you'll never be near me. Your books are as eerie as Beverly Cleary. You're a
Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Ooh.
You're...
So here's the thing. I feel like both of these guys had very dark stories for their times.
Correct.
Because the thing I can say about Stephen King, while his books don't scare me,
Right.
Poe's never did either. But
Right.
I'm also very deadened to horror in terms of being scared from reading
Right.
or watching things. They might get a jump scare out of me here and there,
Right.
but
I
have
I
no.
don't know that deadened would be the word because I've never had any fear of either the stories or, I mean, maybe a slight chill factor for it, but I read that when I was in 5th grade.
Right. I mean, I've known a lot of people though that have been like, "Oh man, I read this book from Stephen King." I've even heard from the other way. I've
Right.
heard people say from Poe.
I meant in terms of like I'm not numb to it because I've been overexposed to it. It's more just like my personality. I've never been a person that horror really affects in that way. And I like them for their different, like I really like his Gothic, eerie, Victorian-esque
right.
style. But then again, like you were saying, Stephen King is more
grotesque as well.
it's more grotesque. Both of them are psychological thrillers.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely...
I will say the one thing King suffers from though is always making the bad guy an alien. It's
almost. Almost always.
He kind of catches shit for it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not always.
Not always, but it does always. It does a lot of the time seem to be his like fallback.
Right.
I mean, I can say your name off several stories, but
Oh yeah, both ways.
Save time.
You're right.
Hear me! I'll forever be better, you'll never be near me. Your books are as eerie as Beverly Cleary. You're a full Bram Stoker, so scrap.
Who's Beverly Cleary again?
A writer
Okay.
who does, I think they're murder mysteries is what they're
Ah,
counted as.
because he said Beverly Cleary, and my mind went Beverly Marsh.
No. You're as eerie as Beverly. She's a writer, but I'm pretty sure they're murder mysteries. Or I like the faux Bram Stoker. That's
Right.
You'll never be near me, your books are as eerie as Beverly Cleary. You're a full Bram Stoker, so scram, the show's over. Your flow so post poems, poser. I wrote a
declaration.
Well, I stopped in a rage, the telltale heart beats something is grave. Well, this jerk just beats off on a page.
all right. Okay, so we've got the
So I like the way Poe ended that.
Mhm.
Because another thing Stephen King is very much known for in his books is having some sort of over-sexualized
yes.
aspect to something within it.
Yes.
Um,
That wasn't strictly necessary to move the story forward.
right.
Yeah.
Um,
I also like the Telltale Heart reference.
right. So I guess at this point I'm just kind of curious as to how
Well, he was yawning, so
King is going to come back with it.
We'll
So.
see.
And if they do not have his like soft and creepy voice, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
I'm sure they will.
Well, I stopped in a rage, the telltale heart beats something is grave. Well, this jerk just beats off on a page.
You wanna talk shop? You got that fun? Go back to Hot Topic and shop for a time. There's a melancholy alcoholic laughing stock in the King's Den. I watch the castle rise. Howdy, little Poe.
All right. Yes, Poe was an alcoholic, but I mean, I don't feel like King should really be talking
Not when
about
you're addicted
addictions.
to
Yeah, probably.
coke and
Well, yeah, the lifestyle.
I'm surprised.
Calling him a fop.
I will openly admit I am surprised Stephen King lived as long as he did.
Oh yeah.
Because he's like in his mid to late 80s, I think, right now.
I'm not sure, but it's somewhere up there.
But I mean, with the drug use he did, and I know I know he doesn't do them anymore. Otherwise, he would be dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad he got off of them.
But he did a lot.
For him to do
Yeah.
what he did when he was younger,
And still
and
have made it.
still have made it this far,
Right.
surprises me.
Right.
I mean, happily surprised, but does surprise me.
Still. Yeah. I'm just go back to Hot Topic. There you go. Yeah. So he's just being rude right now.
Well, that's the right battle should be.
No, I like them when they're vicious. I feel like this is just being rude. I'm gonna need some aggressiveness here. Like, Hot Topic doesn't... That wouldn't insult me particularly. That's where I find the greatest Alice in Wonderland stuff.
Right.
I mean, I get what he's saying, but, like, yeah.
Shop for a time. There's a melancholy alcoholic laughing stock in the King's Head. I watch the castle rise. Pouty little Poe with an opiate affliction. I'm a workaholic with a fiction addiction. Make a dedicated reader shivery and jittery. Feel that rage and misery. You better start running, man.
Rage, Misery, Running Man. He also mentioned
Castle Rock.
the Castle Rock and obviously King's House, referring to himself. Again, he's talking about the fact that he was... Poe was also addicted to opioids. I mean, it was kind of the thing in Victorian England to go to opium dens and, you know, so on and so forth.
Right.
But, again, he's not exactly one to talk about...
I'm sure it'll get flipped on him.
I know. I'm just saying that I don't feel like it's necessarily, like, the best
But
approach.
the difference is... King did get off of what his problems were
And did not die from
and
them.
lived longer. And it killed Poe.
Yes. that is true.
Which is,
You
I
have
think,
a
the
point.
angle they're going for here.
Right. Okay.
But
We'll see.
An addiction. Make a dedicated reader shivery and jittery. Feel that rage and misery. You better start running, man. You're in deep poo, Poe. I'm a mad dog. Think shiny. Cujo. Tommy knock you down till you can't stand up. You're as soft as Poe, the Kung Fu Panda. Racks on racks, 10 fat stacks of frightening writing. Have you seen the pile? I can even take a break from my routine style. Crank out a Shawshank or a Green Mile. Mask of the Red Death. Lily blood curdling.
and
I mean...
now he's saying, I don't just do horror. I've made
Right.
great stories in other genres, and all you've done
Is your Gothic
is
or...
your Gothic.
I mean, poetry and short stories, to be fair.
Right.
But, yes. Yes. And, he did go... He went through a list of his stuff.
And now he's going through
Basically, using... Yeah. I did like the I'm a mad dog, and then, like, an entire verse later was when he mentioned Cujo. Trying to remember what the other thing was.
Poes. Shining and Cujo.
No, I Green Mile, I kind of feel like, yes, it was divergent from his normal horror, but it still could be classified in there. Shawshank Redemption, was an amazing book. Movie, too.
He mentioned Shining after Mad Dog. He says Shining
Right.
and Cujo because if I remember correctly, the main character in The Shining got called a mad dog from his wife,
Right.
I think.
Well, and then he mentioned Tommy will knock you down.
Does Tommy knock you down? Which
Yeah.
is Tommy Knockers is another one of
Right.
his books.
But,
But
yeah,
no, I was just saying in terms of doubles, I think that's what they were doing with the Mad
Right.
Dog and then
They're
adding
mixing the
Shining
two.
and Cujo.
Yeah. And Pit and the Pendulum is Pose.
One of
Yeah.
Poe's stories.
Take a break from my routine style. Crank out a Shawshank or a Green Mile. Mask of the Red Death. Lily blood curdling. Hitting the pendulum. Not even unnerving. Perving on your first cousin when she's 13 years old. Now that's disturbing.
See?
That was
I
savage.
like it when they get... Yes. Thank you. Drop to the level of heathens. I like it.
Said perving on your 14-year-old.
13.
13.
She was 13. And it's very true.
Very, very true.
Yeah. Yeah. Not even back then was that
Acceptable.
acceptable. No. Yeah. It was one of the things that he was looked poorly upon for.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even unnerving. Perving on your first cousin when she's 13 years old. Now that's disturbing.
Even you pretend to do it, I've been really living through it. Misery and poverty and family woes. I see through you like pantyhose. Doing Chappelle and Simpson cameos. Even if you're gripping on a weapon, then you better...
Okay. That's funny.
But this is where, again, you and I differed. Like your whole Hot Topic thing.
Right?
I don't see anything wrong with being on Simpsons and Chappelle.
Chappelle. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. I mean, he's calling him, again, a Joker just in a different way because
Right.
he's on two separate comedy
Right.
type routines.
Now
I like the flow switch, though.
I do too.
Yeah.
I definitely like the flow switch. It does make me wonder if Stephen King would have been around during a time with... Not Stephen King. If Edgar Allan Poe would have been around during a time with media like we have it now.
Right.
If he would have done cameos on stuff.
I don't know. From what he's been described as, he was a very eccentric, almost, I think, hypochondriac type shut-in terms of wanting the isolation. He also seems, according to his writing, just kind of very paranoid-esque.
Right.
I don't know that he would have done real well with kind of...
Maybe not Chappelle's Show. I could see him doing something like The Simpsons, though.
Yeah, where it's a voice type thing. Honestly, I think anybody who wants to be a published author, though, would do
Right.
some sort of interviews or...
Shit, you ain't even got to pay me.
Right?
TV.
I'm
I'll
here
do it
for
free.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Through you like pantyhose. Do a Chappelle with lipstick cameos. Even if you're gripping on a weapon, then you better get a step in if you're messing with a whore lord. In a minute, maybe I'ma hit him, cut him into itty bitty bits, and I'ma stick him in the floorboard.
Speaking of bored,
That was a good reference to Telltale.
Yeah.
Art.
Yeah, it was. I love the background.
Oh, I do too.
just
I
mentioned
will reserve all full-blown judgment till I hear King's last verse.
Lord. In a minute, maybe I'ma hit him, cut him into itty bitty bits, and I'ma stick him in the floorboard.
speaking of bored, you're the worst. Dropped out of school, but you can't drop a bird. I could've spent that time better. In 8 bars, I can write a whole bestseller. I'm so prolific, sickly goblin won't be bothering me. I'm on a cover and spree, and I'll be smacking you with any of the big thick bars in my big dick bibliography. See, I'm...
Okay, so he is one of the most prolific writers.
Dude puts out like 5 books
Right.
a fucking year.
Now, some of those
Some
were
of them
from
are bad.
the Coke. Some of those were from the Coke.
One of his best books was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he barely remembers writing it, but, you know, I feel like maybe if Edgar Allan Poe had gone for Coke instead of
Oh boy, opioids.
heroin, well, you know, upper versus a downer. I
Right.
don't know. Who knows? Plus, he didn't have typewriters. He had to do it all by hand.
Right.
Like, come on. The sickly goblin won't be Bob. Isn't.
Could've spent that time better. In 8 bars, I can write a whole bestseller. I'm so prolific, sickly goblin won't be bothering me. I'm on a cover and spree, and I'll be smacking you with any of the big thick bars in my big dick bibliography. See, I'm the author with the blood and gore lore galore that'll horrify a reader to the core. Fame, money, talent, success, you'll always have less.
That
Nevermore.
was a good ending.
Yeah, it was.
Well, let me see if there's any. There it is.
I like
Okay.
the beat.
I do too. I feel like King won. And the reason why. Again, I feel like over and above all, Poe had the best first verse.
Right. Okay.
But I feel like King ended his
Stronger.
very strongly.
Yeah.
But then going into the second verse, I really just feel like Poe didn't really bring it. Like, there were tons of things I still feel he could have touched on that he didn't. Because he still not once brought up King's drug addiction.
That's true. Where was that?
Like,
Not remembering writing some of his books?
right.
That would be another.
But then I really think the entire second verse of King was better.
It was. I mean,
Yeah, like I said, I feel like there was too much left out of Poe's. And I'm sure there's probably a couple things we missed, references somewhere that somebody will bring up.
right. I still don't feel like it was. I did like his flow better. I will give him that. The change up.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess something else I liked that Stephen King did that Poe didn't do a whole lot of
It's all the book references.
was references.
Yep. That's it. That's pretty much why I'm giving him that.
As far as book writing, I mean, references is a thing, people.
But I also feel like with
Um,
that and what he said, he was harder on Poe than Poe was on him.
Right.
And therefore, yeah.
Again, I don't care who would have won. I like them both. They're literally my
Right.
two favorite authors of any kind.
Right.
Um,
This is one that I'm
I feel like
not
he edged it
particularly
out.
partial either way and wouldn't have been biased either way, but I would have liked to see Poe win just because he never wanted anything really.
No.
And he was my favorite poet.
Although I don't think he should have won at anything if you're skeeving on your fucking 13-year-old.
True dat. True dat. Yeah, but still.
What was her name?
I don't remember the name of his cousin.
Elizabeth, I think.
I don't remember.
We'll look it up after this is over.
Yeah.
No, it's not Elizabeth. It's a name that I know if I heard somebody say the name just randomly, I would be able to make the connection.
Right.
But I can't remember the name right now. We'll look it up after this is over. But yeah, that was fun.
It was.
It was fun. I'm glad you did it.
Not one of my. As much as I love these two authors, it has not been one of my favorite
No, I do.
that they've put out.
I definitely think there are other things that are way more in depth in
That's-
terms of their
yeah.
bars, especially season 6 as a whole,
Right.
which was their last season that they did. Again, though, this was season 2, I think.
Okay.
Maybe
All right.
3. And you could definitely see the progression on their bar
Mhm.
rating as the seasons have gone on. And 6 was just
Right.
fan-fucking-tastic. That entire last season was
Very
wow.
true. Very true.
But no, it was still enjoyable. I mean, there's others I would have also still liked to do.
Right.
I'm kind of trying to save ones I know you'll have little to no interest in for last, or for maybe a day that you're just not feeling like
Okay.
acting. Because like there was like Master Chief versus Leonidas, and while I'm sure you know
Leonidas.
who Leonidas is, you probably have not much any clue who Master Chief is.
Not really.
He's a video game character. That's why I
Yeah.
know who he is.
Figured.
And then there's a couple others as well that
Right.
are like that I'm like, she would know who half the people are.
And yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Although
Well,
we're about to run into that ourselves on the next reaction. But yeah, so that's going to do it. Next reaction we will do of this is, I don't remember, it's the next one in season 1 that we were on.
okay.
I cannot, who the fuck was it?
No clue.
We'll run across it.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully you guys liked it. If you guys did, slash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Comment down below, what did you think of Stephen King versus Edgar Allan Poe's epic rap battle? Also be sure to check the description below for all the things. And yeah,
Push our buttons.
push our buttons. With that being said, we love y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Cannot wait to see you to pray people later. Peace.
Right.